I was never the type to dream of fairy tale weddings or luxury cars. While my college friends flipped through fashion magazines and planned extravagant trips, I spent my nights immersed in lines of code, system diagrams, and the fascinating complexity of artificial intelligence. My world was made of logic, innovative solutions, and the unwavering belief that technology could, in fact, make the world a better place. My name is Melanie, and my passion has always been creation. My wardrobe was functional: jeans, t-shirts, and comfortable hoodies that allowed me to spend hours hunched over the keyboard without any discomfort. Money for me was a means, not an end. Every saved penny was invested in courses, software licenses, or later, the first steps of Luminova, my startup. It was a small rented office with peeling walls and a view of a cluster of old rooftops, but to me, it was a castle. There, amidst tangled wires and empty coffee cups, I built my dream. It was during this period that Lewis entered my life. He was everything I wasn't: impeccable, articulate, and with a sparkle in his eyes that seemed to reflect only ambition. We met at a networking event for entrepreneurs, where I, out of my natural habitat, was trying to explain the potential of my idea to a skeptical investor. Lewis approached me afterward, with a charming smile and a business card made of such smooth material that it seemed to slip from my fingers. "Melanie, right? Your focus is impressive," he said, his dark eyes sweeping over my jeans and worn-out t-shirt before settling on mine. I felt a slight discomfort with the scrutiny but ignored it. "I'm Lewis. I work in market consulting. Your idea has potential, but perhaps it needs a more appealing presentation for the market." That more appealing presentation should have been a warning sign. But I was young, inexperienced in the labyrinths of interpersonal relationships outside the world of programming, and Lewis was captivating. He spoke of grandiose plans, of the next level, of how success was a matter of mindset and connections. I, in my naivete, thought he saw the same potential in me that I saw in my startup, the potential to create something great. Our first dates were in simple coffee shops or at my apartment, where I cooked homemade dinners. I tried to talk about Luminova's progress, about the new algorithm I was developing, the excitement of every small step forward. Lewis listened with a polite smile, but his eyes often drifted to my old laptop or to my modest bookshelf. He spoke more about the places he wanted to dine, the contacts he would make, the type of car a successful man should have. I, immersed in my code bubble, just smiled, thinking it was his way of dreaming big. He never took me to meet his more influential friends, the ones he mentioned so often. His excuse was always the same: "Melanie's dear, they're a bit old-fashioned. They wouldn't understand your genius yet. It's better for you to show yourself when we have something truly big to present." I, innocent, believed he was protecting me, saving me for a special moment. The truth, I would come to discover, was much more painful. He was ashamed of me. Our routine became established. I worked tirelessly on Luminova, which, although still small, was beginning to show promising signs. Every line of code I wrote was a brick in the construction of my future. Lewis, on the other hand, seemed more concerned with maintaining the appearance of a brilliant future. He strived to appear successful, even if his own career wasn't exactly taking off as he boasted. I began to notice the small but significant cracks in our relationship. He started to subtly criticize my choices. "Don't you think you should invest a little more in your image, Melanie? For a CEO, even of a startup, it's important to look prosperous." He said this while I wore a sweatshirt that, to me, was the embodiment of post-work comfort. I replied that I preferred to invest in my company. He just shook his head, an almost inaudible sigh escaping his lips. One day, I suggested we go to a small Japanese restaurant that had just opened near my office. It was simple, but the food was authentic and delicious. "Lewis, you'll love it. It's very discreet, but the sushi is amazing." He frowned, a sign that something displeased him. Melanie, please. Can't we go somewhere more presentable? I have a business meeting tomorrow and I need to maintain a certain image. I can't be seen leaving a place like that. I felt a tightening in my chest. It wasn't about the restaurant. It was about me. It was about what he believed I represented, something too simple, not presentable enough for his world. The atmosphere in my small apartment began to feel heavy in his eyes. He stopped coming as frequently. When he did come, his conversations were punctuated by veiled comparisons. My friend so-and-so's apartment is huge, has a beautiful view. She's the CEO of a marketing company. You should see it, Melanie. Or, my colleague just bought a new car. An imported model. We need to think about how we're going to present ourselves to the world, right? I just listened, the hum of my computer becoming a more comforting sound than his words. My enthusiasm for Luminova, which he once pretended to support, was now treated with an almost bored disinterest. When is this idea of yours actually going to make money, Melanie? I need stability. A solid future. The word poor was never explicitly said by Lewis, but it hung in the air like a thick fog. It was implied in every comment about my choices, in every glance at my apartment, in every suggestion that I needed to improve my image. He didn't see me. He saw a potential investor, someone who one day, perhaps, would transform into something that could add value to his own social climb. I was a project, not a partner. The rejection didn't come like a bolt from the blue. It was a slow and painful drifting apart, a constant erosion of feelings until only the dust of a relationship that was never truly built on solid foundations remained. The day Lewis finally uttered the final words, I already expected them. Only the impact of hearing them aloud caught me off guard. It was a rainy afternoon. I had just closed a small but significant contract for Luminova and was euphoric. I called Lewis, eager to share the good news. He agreed to meet me at a downtown coffee shop, a neutral place, I thought, that would prevent either of us from feeling out of place. When he arrived, his face was serious, almost solemn. There wasn't the slightest trace of joy in his eyes at seeing me. I tried to break the ice. You won't believe it. We got our first big contract. It's a huge step for Luminova. He just nodded, unenthusiastically. He ordered a coffee and waited for the waitress to walk away before speaking. His voice was cold, almost mechanical. Melanie, we need to talk about us. My heart sank. I knew. I had felt it for weeks. But still, the pain was palpable. I think we have different ambitions, he began, his words sounding rehearsed, as if he had repeated them many times in his head. I want more from life. Not that you're not intelligent, because you are, Melanie, brilliant, I admit. But, well, you're too simple, you know? I need someone who fits into my world, someone who understands the value of certain things. I see the people around me, my colleagues' wives, how they dress, where they go. It's a lifestyle I want, and I need someone who is on the same wavelength. He gestured vaguely, as if painting a picture of a luxurious future without my presence. The word poor was not said, but the intention was as clear as water. I was the poor in his equation, not just financially, but in style, in priorities, in aspirations. I didn't fit into his world of appearances and status. My eyes welled up, not for him, but for the way he had seen me, or rather, how he hadn't seen me. I was a person of passion, of purpose, of intellect. He reduced me to a mere accessory of a lifestyle I never aspired to. You think I'm poor? My voice came out more as a whisper than I expected. He sighed, impatient. Melanie, it's not a question of being poor. It's a matter of mindset. I seek a future of recognition. And you're so focused on this startup of yours that it seems like you don't care about anything else. I need a partner who helps me build that future, not someone who drags me down with distant dreams and uncertainties. His words were a blow. Drag me down? I was building something revolutionary, with my own hands and my own mind. He didn't see the value in that. He didn't see value in me. I understand, Louis, I said, slowly standing up. Dignity was the only thing I could preserve at that moment. I hope you find someone who fits perfectly into your plans. I, on the other hand, will continue building mine. I left him there, sitting at his table, with his coffee untouched and his list of material desires. The rain outside seemed to mirror the tears I refused to shed in front of him. The pain was a strange mix of sadness and fury, but, above all, there was a new clarity. From that day on, my energy would be channeled toward a single purpose: to prove him wrong. Not for him, but for myself. The days and weeks following my breakup with Louis were a blur of intense work and fierce determination. The pain of rejection didn't paralyze me. It propelled me. Every line of code written, every meeting with potential investors, every problem solved at Luminova became an act of personal triumph. That feeling of being too simple or poor transformed into the fuel to prove the true value of my purpose. I threw myself headfirst into the startup. The small office with peeling walls was now my sanctuary. Sleepless nights were the rule, not the exception. My team, small but dedicated, shared my vision. They didn't care about my clothes or the value of my rent. They cared about the idea, about the innovation we were building. And I, in turn, valued each one of them. Luminova wasn't just a business. It was an extension of my soul. Our focus was on developing artificial intelligence solutions that truly solved everyday problems, making technology accessible and useful for businesses of all sizes. We started with small contracts, building our reputation brick by brick. There were moments of doubt, of course. The closed doors, the no's from investors, the criticism from skeptics. I remembered Louis's words about the uncertainty of my dreams. But I took a deep breath, reread articles about CEOs who started in garages, and returned to work with even greater dedication. With every small success, a smile blossomed on my face, and the memory of that rainy day faded a little. And then the tide began to turn. A small article in a tech blog about Luminova's innovation caught the attention of an angel investor. He saw the potential, not just in my algorithm, but in the passion behind it. The first capital injection was like an adrenaline shot. Our office moved to a larger, more modern space, with windows that revealed the city below. We hired new talent, people who shared the same hunger for innovation. Luminova began to grow exponentially. I, the nerd who cared more about code than fashion, was now on stages, inspiring others to pursue their dreams. My wardrobe, once functional, gained a touch of sophistication, but always maintaining my practical and comfortable style. I didn't dress to impress, but to feel comfortable in my own skin, as the CEO I had become. With every new achievement, every recognition, I felt a wave of satisfaction. It wasn't vengeful satisfaction, but validation. Validation that my worth was not tied to material possessions or to what people thought of me, but to my purpose, to my ability to transform ideas into reality. I had proven to myself and to the world that true wealth lay in the mind, in passion, and in determination. Luminova had become a household name in the technology market. Our new building was a testament to our success. The interior was modern, with open spaces, high-tech meeting rooms, and a vibrant energy that pulsed in every corner. I spent my days between strategic meetings, developing new partnerships, and overseeing the launch of our latest products. It was a busy morning with a packed schedule. I was preparing for an important meeting with a new potential client, a consulting firm that had expressed great interest in our data analysis platform. From what I understood, they were going through financial difficulties and needed an innovative solution to turn things around. The receptionist, Clara, announced the visitor's arrival over my intercom. Miss Melanie, Mr. Lewis is here for the meeting. May I send him in? My heart skipped a beat. Lewis? The Lewis? A shiver ran down my spine, mixing surprise with a pang of anxiety, and, yes, a spark of something that felt like irony. Could it be a coincidence? I couldn't think of any other Lewis in consulting. I took a deep breath, straightened my blazer, and organized the papers on my desk. The smile that appeared on my lips was genuine but restrained. It wasn't out of revenge, but a mix of disbelief and the sweet realization of how far I had come. Yes, Clara. Please send him in. I waited, feeling a strange anticipation. The door to my office opened. He entered. Lewis. The same Lewis, but with some changes. His hair, once impeccably styled, was a little less polished. There was a line of worry on his forehead, and the arrogant sparkle in his eyes had been replaced by an expression of nervousness and, perhaps, even desperation. He wore a suit that looked a little wrinkled, far from the impeccable appearance he so valued. His eyes swept across the room, taking in the sophisticated design, the panoramic view of the city from my glass window, the large touchscreen monitor on my desk. And then his eyes landed on me. He stopped in the middle of the room, as if he had hit an invisible wall. His eyes widened. The color seemed to drain from his face. I watched him, maintaining a calm and professional expression. The satisfaction I felt was not malevolent, but a deep sense of justice. It was living proof of my worth, not in words, but in achievements. Melanie, he stammered, his voice hoarse, almost a whisper. He looked as if he had seen a ghost, or perhaps something even more terrifying for him, reality. Hello, Lewis, I said, my voice firm and clear, without a hint of unnecessary emotion. Please have a seat. I'm glad Vero Consulting has chosen Luminova for their needs. As you know, we specialize in process optimization and market analysis. How can I help you? The shock on his face was undeniable. He blinked a few times, trying to process the scene. The man who had rejected me for being simple and poor was now sitting in my office, desperately needing the services of my company, the company I had built with my own hands and my own mind. The irony was almost poetic. Melanie, is that really you? I didn't know you were the CEO here. Luminova. He mumbled, his words tripping over each other. Yes, it's me. Melanie Santos, CEO of Luminova, I confirmed, a slight smile playing on my lips. And yes, this is Luminova, the startup that, according to you, had distant dreams and uncertainties. It seems things have changed a bit, haven't they? He swallowed hard, his eyes avoiding mine. The nervousness turned into embarrassment. I came looking for solutions for my company. We're going through a delicate period, and Luminova has an incredible reputation in the market. I had no idea that it was your company. I imagine not, I replied in a calm and professional voice. So, Lewis, let's get down to business. What solutions is your company looking for? I didn't need to humiliate him. My presence there, the success I had built, was the greatest answer of all. He was there, vulnerable, and I was in control, not by power, but by competence. The conversation continued, with him presenting his needs and me listening with the same professional attention I would give to any other client. But behind the business facade, I felt the sweet and profound satisfaction of having arrived exactly where I was supposed to be, without needing approval or a fit into anyone's world. I had built my own world. The meeting with Lewis continued surprisingly professionally, at least on my part. He tried, at all costs, to regain his composure, but the shock and embarrassment were palpable in every stammer, in every averted gaze. I, on the other hand, remained firm and objective, focusing on the solutions Luminova could offer his company, leaving no room for any trace of the personal past. At the end of the presentation, Lewis attempted one last flirtation with the past, a pathetic attempt to rekindle the connection he himself had severed. Melanie, I'm so sorry for how things ended between us. I was a fool. I didn't realize your true worth. If I had known, if I had any idea what you would become. I interrupted him, not rudely, but with a firmness that left no room for doubt. Lewis, the past is the past. We are here as professionals. Luminova evaluates partners based on potential and needs. If your company meets the requirements, we can discuss the next steps. Those words sealed the end of any illusion he might have had of rekindling anything. He realized that the woman in front of him was no longer the simple Melanie he had left behind. She was the CEO of a successful company, a woman who had found her own path, without needing validation or a fit into anyone's world. Luminova ended up signing a consulting contract with his company, not out of pity nor out of revenge, but because, technically, they fit our client profile and the solution we offered was truly the best for them. It was a purely commercial relationship, and for me, that was enough. In the following months, Lewis and I occasionally met at business events or meetings related to the contract. He always greeted me with a respect that had never existed before, and I responded with a professional nod. The satisfaction I felt was deep and lasting. It wasn't the ephemeral joy of seeing someone suffer, but the peace of mind of knowing that I had been true to myself, to my values, and to my dreams. My life continued, filled by the vibrant rhythm of Luminova and new, genuine connections. I learned to better discern people, to value those who saw my purpose, my passion, and not just what I could add to their plans. I found a new love, someone who admired my intelligence and my ambition, who was proud of my achievements, and who, most importantly, loved the simple Melanie I still was, behind all the titles and successes. Looking back at that rainy day when Lewis left me, I no longer felt pain. I was grateful, in fact. That rejection, however painful it had been at the time, propelled me to the top. It showed me that true wealth is not in what you possess, but in what you build, in the value you create for the world, and above all, in the value you recognize in yourself. And that was the greatest victory of all. Thank you for listening to Melanie's story. Have you ever experienced something similar? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. But remember, your worth is not measured by others' opinions. It's measured by your dedication, your effort, and your character. Don't let others' judgment influence how you see yourself. You are enough, and that's what matters. If you enjoyed this story, please like and share this video to support us, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories.